Welcome to the Play Chess Not Checkers podcast, where eye care goes to meet their heroes and learn how they turn a passion for eyes into a business of success. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on the Play Chess Not Checkers podcast. I am Dr. Adam Ramsey, and I am really excited to be talking about a topic that everybody keeps asking me about. This is a topic I actually don't need a guest for. I wanted to take a moment to talk to you guys one-on-one, my experience with virtual assistants. Now, this podcast right now is brought to you by Teem. They are a wonderful virtual assistant platform that has been doing an excellent job in the eye care space, and I'm excited to be partnering with them on this podcast. But I want to take a moment to kind of give you guys my experience, because I have had virtual assistants now for over 3 years in my office. I still remember the first day that I decided to get virtual assistants. My friend Janelle Davidson out of Atlanta, we were at a conference, I think we were at an IDOC conference, and we were sitting there talking, and, I was asking her, what do you think about these virtual assistants? What are your thoughts? I was kind of, figuring out all the different companies looking at it. She's like, well, I've had them for over a year. They're great. Now, I pride myself on being one of those people that can actually get stuff really early. I like to be the first. If I don't have it first, I don't want it. So when Janelle was like, already had it for a year, I'm like, hold on, I am behind. I'm behind. Adam Ramsey's behind. Okay, no, I got to get on it. So I did my research, reached out to some companies and tried to find a way. How can I figure this out on my own? I got a few candidates sent to me. I looked through the options. I interviewed them. And that's one thing with virtual assistants. They're still people. You got to interview them the same way you would interview anybody else. Is this somebody you would want to be a receptionist at the front of your office? Is that somebody you would want to represent your brand or represent your office? I interviewed them. I picked a candidate, and she's been with me for 3 years, the person I picked initially. A year later, I actually got a second virtual assistant because she was so busy and she was so successful in what she was doing that I said, you know what? There are more things that I could actually do with this virtual assistant platform, and I can get a lot more people on my team to really help me grow my office. Now, it has been really hard in Palm Beach, where I'm at, Florida, to find really good talent to come into the office. People like to work from home. And so having a virtual assistant and now having 2 virtual assistants has been a godsend to me, because being able to have somebody that can handle the phones. I really don't like the phones ringing in the office, especially in the front of the office where the optical is, because it's distracting to the people in the optical. Now, if you can have your phones off-site or in the back or something, that's different, but I did not have that luxury in my office when I was looking at these virtual assistants platforms. So getting the phones off-site and away, and not having to worry about that part of the day or that part of the way the office runs and focuses has been excellent. It's allowed my in-office staff to really focus on the things that can't be done virtually. Now, a lot of people that are interested in virtual assistants are concerned you're going to upset your staff. They're going to feel some kind of way. So what I did to really circumvent that from the beginning was I had an office meeting with everybody. And I said, when it was COVID, I let y'all work from home and y'all got paid. And y'all found tasks to do from home. So there is a way to do some of this work virtually, because you did it. I paid you for 2 years virtually, some of you, to be able to work from home. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down all the tasks that you do throughout the day, but you're going to do 2 things for me. One side is stuff that cannot be done virtually. So it is not possible for it to be done anywhere else. And the other tasks that can be done virtually, I want you to write those down on a separate column for me. And I was honest with my staff. I said, hey, some of y'all do a lot of things that I don't even know who's doing what. We do a lot of cross training in the office. Write down everything that you do throughout the day. What does your day, your week consist of? And I was surprised. It was about 50% of their tasks were in that virtual column. And I said, what if I hired somebody and they became your assistant? Not my assistant, but I'm hiring somebody to be your assistant. The difference is you have to still be responsible for those tasks, but they would be willing to help you on those tasks. Now, I'm going to hold you accountable to them, because the people that are helping you are still your assistant, but you're being held accountable to it. Is this something that you would be open to? Would you be excited to have somebody assist you with your tasks? Now, all of a sudden, I flipped the virtual assistant conversation around, and I didn't make it as if I was trying to replace my in-office staff. I was trying to give them help because they all came to me and said, "Doc, I'm overwhelmed. Doc, I have too much work to do. I don't have not enough time." So I said, "Nah, but what if I gave you some help? Would you be happy if you got some help?" Now, all of a sudden, they were excited about the virtual assistants. They wanted to help me interview. They said, "Make sure she can do this. Make sure she can do that." Now, all of a sudden, I had the whole team engaged. I got one virtual assistant. Then I told them I wanted to start being able to scribe in the office, and I needed some help. I needed the help to make myself go faster. I was going to try and pull the virtual assistant off a little bit, and I was like, "Hey, let me help you on the busy days, have them help me, and then you guys answer the phone." And they was like, "No, this one is mine. Shira is mine. You got to find your own." So that's when I decided to hire the second virtual assistant that really did help streamline the office and allow my office to be way more efficient than it had ever been. I don't think I could imagine doing my office without virtual assistants now that it's been 3 years. I'm not sure I could actually pull it off. Full disclosure, transparency, at the top of the year, I had issues with in-office staff, and I had a lot of people leave at the same time. Personal reasons, family, health reasons. So I ran my office with me and one office person in the office and the two virtual assistants on the phone for 2 months straight. I worked the patients up myself. I sold them the optical, and I had a staffer that was there. And I did that for 2 months. I worked harder than I ever worked, but I would have not been able to pull that off without the help of my virtual assistants. But having those virtual assistants allowed me to hire slowly, allowed me to make sure that I was hiring the right people. Because in the past, I might have hired the first warm body that showed up for an interview. But this time, I was actually able to take my time and find the right people that were right for in the right part of my office, that had the right personality, that had the right pedigree to really do help my office take to the next level. So now I'm fully staffed again, and I still have the virtual assistants, and they've been doing an excellent job for me. So having virtual assistants, I think, in this day and age is probably a requirement in optometry. What it does really help with it, in addition, is I'm able to pay my in-office staff a little bit more because I have some salary reduction cost in what I have to pay for the virtual assistants. Now, I've talked to our virtual assistants. Shira and Laura, they're excellent. I remember when I first hired them, the first one was like October, and she sent me a picture on Christmas, and she said, "Because of you, my family gets to have Christmas." And I was like, "Whoo, I don't have any office staff that thanks me like that." Now, a lot of the people from the Philippines now, you are able to get people that are previously pharmacists, previously dentists, previously nurses, and they say the virtual assisting, they get paid more than what they have college degrees in. And that's because you're paying the exchange rate is much better. So when you're actually paying in US dollars and they're getting their money from the exchange rate, they actually make more money being a virtual assistant than being a pharmacist or a dentist or a nurse, which has really helped to have people with a medical background because they understand a lot of the terms. They understand a lot of the technology and the technical components to the medical side of the business, which has been excellent. Great thing about working with Teem is that they're bringing in qualified candidates. They're bringing in people with great medical backgrounds, and they're training them before they come to your office. So you're starting off with a basic knowledge base there. But that's not the only thing. They also have trainings that go ongoing where the virtual assistants can actually learn as they go. They can learn new skills. They can learn new things as they come out. Now, I do a lot of lecturing. I do a lot of speaking. So when I'm gone, I assign different trainings to my staff, and being able to have those things pre-recorded and right there for your staff to really take advantage of and to really learn the business, to really learn the back end, to be able to bring more skills to the office has been excellent. So when I'm gone, I assign trainings. I allow them to learn, I allow them to grow so that my office has better trained and well-trained staff. It's been an excellent partnership. We're doing this as a hybrid model. I still have an on-site team, but that team uses the virtual assistants as an extension of my office, right? People come in all the days and says, "Where's Shira? Where's Laura?" And we let them know they're on the phone, they're virtual. And they're like, "Oh, okay." I have patients that are from the Philippines. And I let them know, who the person you're talking to is in the Philippines, and they love that as well. Now, Teem has people in South America as well. So if you need somebody that's bilingual, you can get some Hispanic speaking staffers as well. So depending on where you are in the country, if having somebody that's bilingual is a positive for you, I definitely think you can reach out to them and ask them for specific parts of the country. The benefit of having people that maybe be in Central America or South America is that they will be on a similar time zone. The Philippines is 12-hour difference. But for my two staffers, it hasn't been a problem because they're sleeping in the daytime and they wake up in the evening. My staff works throughout the night when their spouses and their kids are sleeping. And then when they clock out with me, their kids wake up, they make them breakfast, take them to school. And then when they take them to school, they come back home and go to sleep. Then the kids come home, they wake up at that time, feed them, and then they clock in with me. So it's been it's quiet in their homes at that time. So I think you can have a trade-off on either one. I don't think it's a difference. They've been doing it for so long. They've had an excellent track record for me. I don't have any issues of people falling asleep or anything like that. But I think it's like with anybody. I think you need to definitely interview the staff and you stay on top of their performance throughout the day. But it's been an excellent transition for me. Now, with the virtual assistants, you can have them do a lot of things. What mine do specifically is answer the phones. They reply to text messages. They reply to emails. They pull authorizations for insurance. They pay bills for me. So I'll send them something. I have an office credit card. I can see everything. And they'll pay a frame bill, a lens bill, whatever needs to be paid. I send it to them and I say, "Hey, pay this one." And they have a card that they use, and I can watch and track those transactions. And they do almost anything we need that can be done virtually. If it requires a phone or a computer, they're doing that. So if we need to order contacts for a patient, they'll take a payment over the phone. We'll send them a text to pay, and the patient pays, and then they'll order the contacts. They'll order lenses from the lab. If we need to make any calls or anything like that, they handle those things. So it's been really excellent. You can also have the virtual assistants actually scribe for you. So you can pull up, Zoom has a HIPAA compliant platform. You pay a little bit more for that, but it's HIPAA compliant. And then you can have the camera off or you can have the camera on and they're just listening to you audibly. And then you just talk it out. And you go through with the day with the patients. Some people I know have like a tablet. So they'll have the HIPAA compliant Zoom on the tablet and walk from room to room. And then you just talk it out. Say, "Hey, Mrs. Smith, nice to see you." So then they know exactly who was in the room and who you're talking to. And then they just go through your day and you just start writing. And they do that. You can record that so that they can go back later on and be like, "Did I miss anything?" And they can record that Zoom throughout the day. And then they can go back and listen to the audio in case they missed something. So it's a lot of ways in which you can use these different platforms to benefit you. And then you can talk. You can even say, "Hey, refer to this patient or refer to this other doctor." And they're there throughout the day with you. And you can hit mute when you want to have a private conversation and unmute when you want them to start scribing for you. So, it's like having a personal assistant throughout the day. You can be like, "Hey, can you book this? Or can you buy this for me? And can you order this?" And they're there in the background in between patients and they can go on and order something for you or buy something or pay for something because you have them there. And you can really do as much as you want if you're willing to do the training. I think this is where most doctors get mixed up with having a virtual assistant. You still have to train them on how you like it. How do you like your charts? How do you want them to book an appointment? They may know how to book an appointment, but they may not know your shorthand and your terms and the different monikers that you use in your office that helps everybody work on one platform. In my office, we have a chat box that's open so they can be on the phone with a patient, have to ask a question, They ask everybody, the first one that is available, the first one knows the answer to it, they respond back. Whoever sees it, if the person that needs to answer that question didn't see it, they just ask, they say, hey, Laura needs to know about X, Y, and Z. And then they just respond back in the chat. And that's been excellent. But you can definitely have them do billing and coding. You can do as much as you're willing to train them on, much as you want to explain how you do. I think you have an excellent opportunity with scribes to really do some great work. I think of a scribe in today's market as you get 2 people for 1. So think of the cost of cut in half the cost of bringing an in-office person in. And now I've hired 2 people for the price of 1, and they do twice as good a job. So my efficiency goes through the roof, and it has allowed me to give my staff raises in times in which maybe we couldn't have afforded it. But now I have the staff, I have the room in the budget to actually be able to give my in-office staff raises. So they've been happy with that because they're like, hey, these people are really helping me. The staff overseas are excited and happy to be a part of the team, and the in-office staff is happy to have. So it's been an amazing partnership. I'm excited. I might be hiring the 3rd one pretty soon. So, because we really maxed out what we can do with the ones we have right now. But I look at that growth as not spending money, but I'm investing in my team and I'm investing in the growth of my office. I think with anybody bringing on additional staff, it does take some time to actually work through that. But the good thing is these staff are actually trained. They have been vetted. They have a lot of the basic knowledge. So now all you have to do is teach them about what you want and how the specifics of your office actually works. And I think virtual assistant is something that really everybody really needs to get on board with and have that as a part of the team. The great thing is they're working for you. They're working directly for you and for your offices. And it's been an excellent partnership for me. I can't speak more highly of virtual assistants than I do right now. I've done a bunch of podcasts and articles and everything, so everybody asks me about it. So this is why I say, you know what? I can actually talk on this topic by myself. So stay tuned for the guest speakers that we have so you can get some other opinions of other people that have been using virtual assistants and have been working with that to find staffing for your offices. If you have any questions about virtual assistants or how we can get that to work better in your office, reach out to me. Now, what I would like you to do even more is to book an appointment and book a call with the staff at a team and allow them to walk you through how their platform can actually be a benefit to your office. Now, what they've told me is that they're willing to give a $50 gift certificate for everybody that actually comes in and does an appointment with them and is actually serious about getting on board with virtual assistants. They're saying, hey, we're going to give you a $50 gift card, have lunch on them while they walk you through how Teem can actually work really well in your office. But you got to tell them about the Play Chess, Not Checkers, the podcast. You got to say Dr. Ramsey sent you. If you just do it without that, you're not getting the $50. The $50 is because you're talking to me. You heard it from me right here. Ask them about how you can get your $50 from Play Chess, Not Checkers, the podcast. Defocus Media, we're here. We're working together. You see, I got my hat on. Team right here, y'all gave me this hat. I didn't throw it away. Y'all gave it to me a while ago, and I said, you know what? I'm going to put these on. It actually fits. I got a pretty big head, but it fits. But if you have any other questions, please comment below, share, subscribe, tell your friends about the podcast, and stay tuned because we got a few more special guests that are going to be coming on board that are going to be mentioning and talking about their experience with virtual assistants. Thank you. Really appreciate everybody. Shout out to our team. Love the support.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned something today that you can take back to your business, take back to your practice, and change the lives of your patients today. Now, if you love what you heard and love what you saw, download, share, like, and subscribe. Tell a friend about the Play Chess, Not Checkers, the podcast.